So what we look for when we look for signs of stress is firstly the complexion and how well the facial expression is able to express a spark from inside. And so this is a sign that a person is connected to that pulsation where we can move between challenge and recovery. When we've lost that ability, what happens is the facial complexion can become more pale and generally more dull. The eyes are not as bright. So that's the first sign that we look for. And then in terms of posture, usually when we're under stress and stuck in a state of chronic stress and anxiety, the back of the body tends to go up, so the front body gets compressed, and we end up with this kind of hunched posture, protective posture, where our experience of the world is one that feels very hostile, and it reflects this inner conflict that manifests as anxiety and nervousness and the symptoms of stress. Also, we look for the breathing pattern. If the breathing pattern is shallower, and if it's very difficult to make longer exhalations, then this can be a sign that someone is either in a state of anxiety, where we're tending towards more of a hyperventilation, shallower, shorter breaths with more emphasis on the inhale, or just generally not able to feel a sense of peace and quietude inside. The other pattern that we look for is the quality of sleep. So the stress response in the body, the fight or flight response, which we call the sympathetic response, directly competes with the parasympathetic response, which controls digestion and the ability to relax and rest and have a deep stage sleep. So the quality of sleep is very important to look at. If we're waking up frequently throughout the night, if we have difficulty falling asleep, these are all patterns that the body is stuck in a state of stress, in a stress response. And lastly, we can look at the blood pressure as a very, very simple way of seeing that with stress, especially pent-up stress, where we're holding a lot of frustration and inner anxiety and a feeling of conflict inside, the blood pressure can be high. But also with a jittery feeling of nervousness and anxiety, that can also produce high blood pressure. So we look at blood pressure, elevated blood pressure, either from frustrated, pent-up energy, too much energy that raises the blood pressure up, or a jittery nervous system that can also increase blood pressure. So it gives more likelihood to have tension, headaches, just a general more reactive response where we have a shorter fuse, more irritability, and we easily become short of breath. Those are the main things we look for. Okay, so the first recommendation that I like to make when it comes to reducing stress and the effects that stress have on the body is to make sure that from a dietary point of view, that we avoid things that tend to increase stress. So the acronym I use is CATS. C for caffeine, A for alcohol, T for tobacco, and S for sugar. And anything that has additives or preservatives should be avoided during the time when you're experiencing more stress. Also, hydration levels are extremely important. When we are under a lot of stress, we tend to use up more fluids, and we also tend to forget to drink and hydrate. And also a very basic symptom of dehydration is nervous anxiety and a feeling of stress. So proper hydration, and on average we want to drink, depends on your weight, but on average we want to drink about 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. And I like to recommend that people drink water with a little bit of juice or lemon, so it makes the water a little bit easier to absorb. Pure water is not a very good hydrator, but water with lemon is a very good hydrator. The other thing is to focus on breathing. So sometimes we hear this